Welcome back to Hardball. Governor Sarah Palin and Senator Joe Biden face off in just 2 days now. Here's Governor Palin on CBS Evening News with Katie Couric talking about the upcoming debate.
You made a funny comment. You said you've been listening to Joe Biden's speeches since you were in second grade, something like that?
Since like 72, yeah.
When you have a 72-year-old running mate, is that a kind of a risky thing to say? It's insinuating that Joe Biden's been around a while?
Oh, no, it's nothing negative at all. He's got a lot of experience, and just stating the fact there that we've been hearing his speeches for all these years. So he's got a tremendous amount of experience, and, you know, I'm the new energy, the new face, the new ideas, and he's got the experience based on many, many years in the Senate, and voters are going to have a choice there in what it is that they want in these next 4 years.
So what do each of them have to do Thursday night? Joining me now is Democratic consultant Nancy Skinner, who helped prep Jennifer Granholm, the Michigan governor, who's playing Sarah Palin in Joe Biden's debate preps. What an interesting role you're playing. Also with us, MSNBC political analyst Pat Buchanan. Nancy, tell me why you think Governor Granholm, who's what, an Ivy League grad law? What did she go to, Harvard Law or something? She's a genius.
Harvard Law School.
In her manner, in her background, and she's born in Canada, how does she sort of fit the role of Sarah Palin? Why is she a good sparring partner to play that role?
First and foremost, Chris, she's a great debater. She's one of the best, there is, really. She does have that background. She did go to Harvard Law School. She was a federal prosecutor, an attorney general, before becoming governor of the state of Michigan. She's also a mother, governor, and, she is leading quite a different state, a state of 10 million with a declining auto base and that. But she's great at what she does, and I think the Biden team really wanted someone to scrimmage them. Not a play, but a scrimmage, and she's the best you can get.
Did you watch them scrimmage?
No, I prepped her before they're now doing their scrimmages. I prepped her before she left for Delaware.
Well, let's look at some of the game films here. This is the 2006 Alaska governor's debate. The moderator asked candidate Palin at the time her stance on abortion in the case of a rape.
You know, with my respect for the sanctity of life and my belief in the potential of life, I know that this aspect of the abortion issue is very sensitive and, it's a very private matter also. But personally, I would choose life.
So I'm not sure where that takes us, Pat, but she's apparently a very good debater.
I think so. She did an outstanding job up in Alaska, and what I would recommend the McCain people, who I think have mishandled her, Chris, is really let Sarah be Sarah. Let her get her information down on the issues of Iraq, Afghanistan, the rest of it, and then let her be herself, because I think she's extraordinarily fresh. I think she's set the country on fire. People like and love her. They know she's from Alaska, and I don't think they're expecting her to really give the details of the Georgia-Ossetia conflict.
Well, let's take a look now at Farrar Bush. We're talking here about men and women debating together, and this is something new in American presidential vice presidential politics. Here's Geraldine Farrar going at George Bush Sr. back in '84.
Let me just say, first of all, that I almost resent Vice President Bush, your patronizing attitude that you have to teach me about foreign policy. I've been a member of Congress for 6 years. I was there when the embassy was held hostage in Iran, and I have been there and I have seen what has happened in the past several months, 17 months with your administration.
Nancy, is that something for Joe Biden to worry about? Just no matter how he behaves, at any moment, couldn't Governor Palin just pull one of those and say you're being condescending, and people would hear that quote and not necessarily get the whole picture and just say, well, she may be right?
I don't think so. I really don't. Looking at her game tapes, as you said, my dad's an old football coach, Chris. We're kind of past that with Geraldine Ferrara. He's debated Hillary Clinton now for so long. But I think what she has done, what the McCain campaign has done brilliantly, is they've inoculated her against any attacks whatsoever. They came out and said everything was an attack. Certainly the kids wasn't a legitimate attack. But now it's like all of a sudden, if you question her own credentials or her policy even, it's an attack. So they've set themselves up brilliantly, which really is a landmine for Joe Biden. Can you not? If it was a man,
isn't that true,
maybe you would question her.
No, look, first, Sarah Palin's not a whiner. She's not going to say something like that. She's a real fighter, and she'll come back, and I think she's probably going to come back at Joe Biden. What Joe Biden's got to watch, I think, is he can't be a wiseacre, and I don't think he's going to go very hard at her the way he went at, say, Clarence Thomas or Sam Alito, but he doesn't want to be a wiseacre. But I think she's going to be coming at him. I think she's going to have some good lines. She's sharp in that sense.
That she go on the attack.
Well, not on the attack, because, I mean, she's got a very pleasant way. You saw her in her speech.
I think she's very appealing as a person. I think that's not the issue.
Needle in. The same issue, Chris, when you and I start laughing when we saw Rudy Giuliani was stick the needle in, that's the kind of needle. You don't want some brutal frontal attack. But look, Joe Biden's got a record of his own.
Of that, let's take a look at Rick Lazio going up against Senator Hillary Clinton, or candidate Hillary Clinton, back in that race in 2000.
I'm not asking you to admire it. I'm asking you to sign it.
Well, I would be happy to when you give me the signed letters.
Right here.
Would you give me?
Right here. Sign it right now.
Well, we'll shake on this.
No, I want your signature, because I think that everybody wants to see you signing something that you said you were for.
Well, I think he violated her space there. Just guessing, Nancy. What do you think? It was like when who was it when Al Gore went up and sort of confronted George W. Bush in that debate. People don't like seeing somebody's space violated, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. And you know what, Chris? The way that the McCain camp fought for and got the debate format, it really does favor Sarah Palin, because look, just like her convention speech was very well delivered, and her former debates in Alaska, great debater. This prep session she's going through right now, they are intensively writing her answers out, and she's a great broadcaster. She was a former broadcaster. She's a great communicator.
Nancy, are you setting up?
No, I'm telling you the inside.
Sandbagging this person here by saying how she can't lose.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying watch her tapes in Alaska. It was a whole different. This isn't going to be the Katie Couric shoot from the hip, I'm not prepared thing. They are going to have her so well prepared and scripted. But Chris, you made a good point yesterday.
I just love the way you're doing this, Nancy. You are setting this up. Let me ask you the bottom line. She can't lose, right?
No, I'm not saying that, Chris. What I'm saying is, yes, you made a great point yesterday when you said, okay, let's say she's good at being coached on this and prepped on this, but let's say there's some heavy ideological question that gets thrown at her. That's the question, because she doesn't have the experience in the years.
Right.
And this debate, ultimately, if this were the silly season 2 months ago, it might be about a popularity contest and who's more likable. But with the country in crisis and 2 wars, people are going to be seriously looking at who's more prepared.
I don't believe that I hope they don't have her memorizing answers to deliver. Remember Reagan's first debate, how bad he did against Mondale? He was stuffed full of facts and figures by Darman and those guys. The second debate, he said, get out of the room, and he went in there and he was himself. She ought to get fundamental answers and then go down, let her own philosophy, her own personality come through. Let her be Sarah. If she loses, then you lose, but you don't lose on somebody else's game plan.
You have forgotten the nature of a neoconservative.
She's not a neoconservative.
No. Yeah. The people briefing her are in this homeschooling exercise that's going on. It's just like they did with Quayle or George W. Bush. They get a newcomer who hasn't had a lot of book learning and the ideology of the right, and they teach them the right words. You don't think that's going on right now? Randy Shuneman's not filling her with that ideology right now?
Throw Randy Shuneman out of the room. I'll tell you, give her basic information and then let her be herself. Her philosophy's conservative. It'll come through. So will her personality.
How does she avoid the repetition that has become a signal of being overbriefed, Nancy, when you begin to repeat the exact same words again and again and again? Like, for example, I don't want to second-guess Israel. Well, that's interesting, but when you say it 4 times in 4 answers, people might get the idea that Randy Shuneman has briefed you, or that somebody with an ideological point of view has given you exact words to use. What do you think about that, Nancy?
We actually call them key words, absolutely, and it's obvious to people. And the format is 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Right. So that's why I do think, Pat, it's not just she can talk about, and she often does speak in first principles or what we call value frames, but it's really hard to make your case. But the format will favor her in this regard. There won't be the freewheeling exchange back and forth, so Biden isn't going to be able to challenge her. If she ever had a weakness, that was it, because she speaks in these just general, I believe in freedom and democracy and being a maverick and reform.
Wait a minute. Here's what she's got. Now, let me talk, Nancy. What she's got going for her, this is a 90-minute debate. It's economic policy, foreign policy, social issues. You can't ask one question like Charlie did 4 times.
I'm rooting for Gwen Ifill myself, because I think she's going to be really effective.
She got a broken ankle.
Well, she'll be a very effective interviewer, I think, and very effective moderator. We'll see. Anyway, Nancy Skinner, thank you for joining the show. Pat Buchanan, as always.